So let me discuss you one particular experiment, or you can also assume this is a problem. So let's, from this particular experiment or problem, we will just try to verify the uncertainty principle. How uncertainty principle you can verify, and there is very good video on the YouTube. I will, if you want, I will share you about this particular concept we are just discussing, but we will just calculate how we can measure the uncertainty. Look at this, is very interesting. So suppose we have young slit, single slit problem. This is single slit problem, and there is a one particular screen, and this is single slit, and it is very widely opened. It is very widely opened, and what will happen? We just try to allow the this particular laser light inside this particular slit. So what will happen? What we will see? We will see that there is a spot. You can find, I can just use different color such that you can find. So there is a spot, and this is your y direction. Let's say this is your y direction and this is your x direction. So slit width is in x direction. And now what is going to happen? We are just going to reduce this particular slit. What will happen? We are just going to reduce this particular slit, and as we are reduce it, what we will get? This light will spread it. We are reducing into the x part, the light is going to spread, and you will find some this kind of particular diffraction pattern. And I can just reduce this thing and you have this. So what will happen? If you are reducing the delta x, what will be effect on px? It is increased such that light will go up to this level and this level. The momentum is going to increase very fastly. So you have in this, so why you are getting that light here and here also. So if you are decreasing into x direction, the momentum is going to spread it into the x direction. And you will be surprised when we are going to calculate. I will just right now calculate the uncertainty value of this particular experiment. You will get it will be more than h by 2. And let's try to calculate it. So I will just going to take the spread of the first maxima because it is the main appearance thing. Other thing I am just going to leave it. So what will happen? So let's try to go for this calculation, and calculation is very simple, just a geometric in nature. So what will happen? So you have, so I am just removing this thing. So you have this kind of situation, suppose, and this is the central part, and this is the part difference, and we can write this angle is, so from x-axis this angle is basically theta. So this is the x-axis, this angle is, let's say, theta. So this is the center part, so this axis is theta, and what will be this? This will be, let's say, d sine theta. And what is your d sine theta? You know from the diffraction pattern, d sine theta is equal to n lambda. This is for the all about your concept. I am just talking about the first maxima. So this will be d sine theta is equal to lambda. And what I am doing, I will take d as delta x. What is my, this is all about my delta x. So delta x is delta x sine theta is equal to lambda. So what is delta x? Delta x is equal to lambda upon sine theta. So I have calculated delta x. Let us calculate the what is change in momentum. So obviously it will spread into this side and it is also spread into this side. So what will be delta px? Delta px is equal to all 2p sine theta. If P is the momentum, so a spread of the momentum, this is spreading. The spread of the momentum in this direction and this direction in x direction is 2p sine theta. And now, if we can write this 2p as 2 into, and you can just write delta px, and this will be a lambda, and this p
H
can
cut
be a,
upon delta x.
yes, we will no h cut upon delta x, not, we can write p as h upon lambda. So delta x into delta px, we can write delta x into delta px is equal to 2p. So this will be lambda upon sine theta into 2p sine theta. And what will happen? This and this will cancel, and you can get lambda into 2 into h upon lambda. So this is cancel. I can use the de Broglie wavelength for this particular p as h upon lambda, and you can easily get that value is 2h. So obviously for only this particular value we are getting the 2h. Then all other part, if you are go for this will be more than this. So obviously you can get the uncertainty delta x into delta px. Delta x into delta px is equal to 2h, and obviously greater than h by 2. So this is the wonderful experiment, and in your examination the same experiment can come into your exam. Don't worry. And now you can see, if we are changing the x, and what will happen if we will increase the x? If we are going to increase the x, then px will be going to decrease. Then px will be the spread of in this direction is going to decrease, such that delta x into delta px will be more than h by 2. And obviously in this particular experiment we are getting this is 2h. So it is not, whatever we are calculating here is not hypothetical. We are just verifying the hypothesis with our natural experiment. And yes, we are doing it with the light. You can do this type of experiment with another particle also. But obviously, when it will come to the macroscopic particle, then it will create a big problem. Why big problem? Because it is not so significant. And that time maybe you can find this value is maybe 0. So this is the wonderful experiment. You can just try to understand. If you have any doubt, you can just ask me.
हेलो सर,
Hmm.
तो जो आपने यहाँ पे d sin थीटा इक्वल्स टू लैम्डा लिखा है सर, वहाँ पे फिर आपने बाद में del x sin थीटा इक्वल्स टू लैम्डा किया है सर। तो del x कैसे किया?
del x ये d को छोटा कर दिया ना, छोटा कर दिया, चेंज कर दिया. Actual is this, but I just want to see if I will reduce dx, what will happen to p?
Yes sir.
Okay,
sir.
so d will be changes to delta x.
Okay.
So in 1 year there was a question. So it is changing in x direction. So why I have given this is y direction and this is x direction. So I am changing d in x direction. Okay, the length, the width can be anything, na? The width can be anything.
Hello sir.
Yes.
Yes sir.
सर ये del px is equal to 2p sin theta कैसे हुआ एक बार बता
Because
दीजिए.
this is p. Okay, and you will take the two part of this. One is p cos theta, another is p sin theta.
Okay sir.
This is p. This is momentum. So what is this value? This is theta. This is p sin theta, isn't it? So p sin theta upward and p sin theta downward. This is very simple, isn't it? You have this type of
Yes.
width, na?
Yes sir.
Okay, so this is very simple. Similarly,
Yes,
you
sir.
can have another type of yes.
सर ये मोमेंटम फोटोन की मोमेंटम की बात हो रही है क्या सर?
Yes, फोटोन की मोमेंटम की बात हो रही है. Light is all about photon. Yes. Now let's try to figure it out. Can we get the energy of hydrogen atom from uncertainty principle? Let's try to get it. We have get it, energy of hydrogen atom from Bohr's theory. Let's try to get the energy of hydrogen atom from uncertainty principle. It's a very nice problem. Let's try to do this. So what is energy? So energy is all about your, let's say, PR square upon 2m plus potential energy, let's say VR. And you know what is the potential energy for hydrogen atom is PR square upon 2m minus E square upon 4 pi epsilon naught R naught. So this is your R naught, or R is there, not R naught, this is R. Suppose this is my potential. Now what is problem? If I am writing this thing from the uncertainty principle, what I am assuming? I am assuming that whatever be the phase curve, suppose we are going for PR and R, I can assume that this point is dimensionless. This point is dimensionless. So according to uncertainty principle, we cannot say precisely this is my PR and R. We cannot say. What you can say? Due to uncertainty principle, in the last class, I have told you that we have something like this kind of situation, such that there is some dimension. Dimension means not unit and dimension. Dimension means it has some area, and that area must be belongs to milli approximated to h. And you can just take this particular thing. Now let us try to, so what we have to do during the uncertainty principle, whatever we are writing PR and R, we are not sure they are actually PR and R. We can write they are something this kind of situation. So any point between this we can write. And what we can say, you can say that delta PR into delta R is approximately, let's say it is equal to H cut. Okay, we are using H cut, na? Yes, they are actually H cut. And so we can write this thing as, and you have different value of delta PR and delta R. You have different value. They are variables. In spite of R and PR, we can use delta PR and delta R. Now, what we can write? We can write E as delta PR whole square upon 2m minus E square 4 pi epsilon naught delta R. And from the uncertainty principle, we can just put delta PR as E is equal to H cut square upon 2m delta R square minus E square, but 4 pi epsilon naught delta R. Now this delta R can be any value. This delta R can be any value. But we have to find only those value for energy is minimum. What I want? I just want to find minimum energy of hydrogen atom. We just want to find what will be the minimum value of hydrogen atom. So you can have delta R, n number of values you can get the delta R. But for one particular value of delta R, that is a number. That is a number, please. Delta R is some number. And that is one particular value of delta R. You can find this energy is minimum. And let's try to find it. What is that particular value of delta R? And you will be surprised. You will be surprised when we will get the answer. So why I am doing this calculation here? Because you know the actually answer. You know the answer due to another form. So let's try to calculate the value of delta R for which energy is minimum. Please mind it, we can take delta R, any value of delta R. But we want to know for which value of delta R energy is minimum. So what we can do, we can just go for dE upon d delta R must be equal to 0. And when you will just go for dE upon d delta R is equal to 0, then this is the calculation minus 2h cut square upon 2m delta R cube minus plus E square 4 pi epsilon naught delta R whole square is equal to 0. And from here you can get the value of delta R. What is value of delta R? Delta R is 4 pi epsilon naught h cut square upon m E square. Do you remember what is this particular thing?
Yes.
Do you remember what is this particular thing? This number is very important. We have discussed this number.
A naught.
A naught. Yes.
0.53.
0.53 A naught. Means if your delta R is equal to A naught, and if you will put the value of delta R into this particular equation, you will put the value of delta R into this particular equation. I am just leaving up to you. I am writing the direct answer. You will get energy, and that energy is equal to E is equal to minus, you can have m by 2h cut square, and this will be E square upon 4 pi epsilon naught whole square. You will be surprised that is the exact value of energy. And what will be this value of energy? Is nothing but minus 13.6 electron volt, isn't it? You can just do this calculation. I am not giving the time to unnecessary for calculation, but look at this thing. So obviously it works. It works. And now what I am saying to you, I am saying to you that different approach, if different approach give the same type of conclusion, then obviously there is something hidden into the system. And we have to talk it in a generalized form. And the generalized form of all these things are known as quantum mechanics. So this is the most important thing you can find, how we are taking this type of situation. Look at. And please, how experimentally you will do this? How experimentally you will do this? You will just find the value of R at again and again, and then you will take you can have different value of R. You will take the different value of R, and then you will find the standard deviation of R. What is the standard deviation of R? The standard deviation of R is nothing but the average value of R square minus average value of R square minus average value of R whole square, and that will come to actually A naught. So it is, delta R is not just a, this can be practically verified. This can be practically verified. You can, anytime you can just, you have your particle and you can just find the position, and you can find the position, and again you can find the position, and again you can find the position again at the same time. Or you can say you are just using that some particular point, some particular system, and you have same system, n number of system at some particular point t is equal to t. In every system you just find the value of R, and then you have number of data, and then you can find it statistically, and once you will find it statistically, you will get this will be something as A naught. So this is very interesting. And when we will develop the quantum mechanical theory, you will find this will be exactly same number will come into the picture. Same thing. So this is very interesting. So let's try to go for another problem. If you have any doubt, you can just ask me. And please also.
तो वो जो लास्ट में आपने डेल आर का फॉर्मूला लिखा है, डेल आर
डेल आर तो पिछले बार ही बताया था, पिछले बार ही बताया था. ओके ओके, नजर नहीं आ रहा है? डोंट वरी. डेल्टा आर इज ऑल अबाउट एवरेज वैल्यू ऑफ आर स्क्वायर माइनस एवरेज वैल्यू आर का होल स्क्वायर. ये कैलकुलेट करने आता है ना? यू हैव डन इनटू योर लैब. कैसे कैलकुलेट करते हो? फर्स्ट you will take r is equal to, let's say, a naught. Second, you will take r is equal to 3 by 2 a naught. Third measurement, you will take r is equal to 1 by 2 a naught. Okay, then what you will do? Suppose I have taken the 3 measurement only. How you will calculate delta r? Then you will just go for a naught plus 3 by 2 a naught plus 1 by 2 a naught by 3. This is average value of r. And then you will just go for the average value of r square. So what is average value of r square? A naught square 3 by 2, a naught square 1 by 2, a naught square by 3. So this is average value of r square. And now you will put it into this formula. But obviously I have just taken an arbitrary number. But if you will do this thing into the lab, you will get this value is r naught. So it's a very interesting thing. So let's try to figure it out for harmonic oscillator also. Let's try to figure it out for harmonic oscillator. What will be the energy from the uncertainty principle for harmonic oscillator? Let's try to figure it out. Now, what is energy? Energy for harmonic oscillator is px square upon 2m plus half m omega square x square. Now, for uncertainty, I cannot say this will be exactly px and exactly x. There may be some variable into x and px. So what will be energy? I can write this will be delta px whole square upon 2m plus half m omega square delta x whole square. And now for the harmonic oscillator, one thing you have to remember, for the harmonic oscillator, for the minimum value of energy, you will take delta x into delta px is equal to h cut by 2. And for this is for the harmonic oscillator. And for other system, you will take delta x into delta px is equal to h cut. Can anybody guess why they are taking this? Actually, I am also not sure that why they are taking this, but I will give you some logic. And I think this logic is very interesting. But yes,
oscillator sir दोनों डायरेक्शन में मूव करता है सर, oscillate करता है ना, तो मतलब आप कर सकते हैं इसको.
No. In the particle in box we have taken h cut. Remember, in particle box delta x into delta px last class we have taken h cut. You remember this thing? And in the particle in box, the particle is go there and come back. Just look at very nicely. Look at this all thing very carefully. This equation. Just try to look at this equation and then try to give me answer. I just want to develop your intuition about harmonic oscillator. Anybody wants to try?
Because of spherical.
Spherical? What is spherical?
सर पोजीशन की हायर पावर्स के लिए h/2 लेते हैं, h cut by 2.
No. Position के no. This is not very smart thing.
Sir,
For the hydrogen atom we have taken h cut. For particle in box we have taken h cut. But for harmonic oscillator we are taking h cut by 2.
Potential energy directly proportional to delta x square.
No. Look at. I am giving you. Look at, everything is all about symmetry. If I will take m is equal to 1, omega is equal to 1 unit, what will be energy? Isn't it? Px square by
Yes,
2,
sir.
x square by 2. And they are perfectly symmetric. You
Yes,
can
sir.
change x to p, p to x. I will tell this is my kinetic energy, this is my potential energy. What you will do? I will tell this is my potential energy, this is my kinetic energy. What you will do?
So change px by x.
Yes. Here is allowed. This thing is allowed. You can change px to x, x to px. They are symmetric. Both variable moving together actually. So why this is the most symmetric system? Why harmonic oscillator is so important? Why harmonic oscillator is so important? In any topic you will get the harmonic oscillator, because this is the most symmetric problem in a physics. You can have x square, px square, everything is very nice. So why we assume that minimum uncertainty can only achieved by the harmonic oscillator, and other problem will always get more than this. So this is one type of, it may be a matter of debate. It may be you cannot agree with this, but and even it is not given at any books and everything, but it is my intuition tells me that these two things can be interchanged and they are more symmetric. If you will go into this particular kinetic theory of gases, or if you will go into statistical mechanics, at some temperature T, what will be the average value of harmonic oscillator? Average energy of harmonic oscillator? You will get kT. And how you will get kT? You will get average value of kinetic energy, average value of potential energy. This kinetic energy will give you kT by 2, and this will also give you kT by 2.
Yes, sir.
And you will get the kT. So average value will be something behaving same kind of thing. Okay? Average value of kinetic energy, average value of potential energy, you will get everywhere, you will get same. And for this, I think my intuition is correct. Because all other problems, the px and x cannot be so much beautifully symmetric. And this is my idea actually to understanding the system. Because once when I was on your level, I was so confused that why you are taking h cut by 2, why you are taking h cut here. And then I think very carefully and I got this answer. And this will be all about particular thing.
Sir, सर
Anyway.
ये सिमेट्रिकल तो
Yes.
हेलो
Yes.
सर ये सिमेट्रिकल तो तब है ना जब हम मास और ओमेगा 1
No, these are the variable. These are the variable. Sorry, these are the parameters. I am just talking about variable. पैरामीटर का तो आप कुछ, ये तो हो सकता है ना, m and omega तो हो सकता है ना. And even you will take the mass, even you will take the omega, any value of omega, any value of mass. It is my personal feeling in the thermodynamics, you will get kT by 2, kT by 2. And in the quantum mechanics, we have get same average kinetic energy and same average potential energy also. Everywhere I am getting the same kind of thing. We will show you when we will go into quantum mechanics and all we will discuss into harmonic. Anyway, and I think I have just shared all my idea here, but it's up to you that you can take this idea or not. But yes, for the examination point of view, take harmonic oscillator h cut by 2, and for other system you can take h cut. But obviously physics is all about logic, how you can logically explain it. Let's try to go for it. Okay, so
सर
what I yes, I think it's more than enough.
सर ये नो सर पहले वाले के लिए पूछ रहा हूँ सर। ये अभी हाइड्रोजन एटम में जो मिनिमम एनर्जी -13.6 इलेक्ट्रॉन वोल्ट आई है सर, वो मिनिमम अनसर्टेनिटी एनर्जी है या सर फिर मिनिमम
एनर्जी हमने एनर्जी निकाला है उसके थ्रू।
तो सर हम यहाँ पर px को डेल्टा px और x को
अभी तो
डेल्टा
बताया
x से कर रहे
बेटा।
हैं, तो सर
अरे भाई फिर तो
डेल्टा ही होना चाहिए।
यार तुम समझ नहीं रहे हो मैं जो बात कह रहा हूं। आपने पार्टिकल की एक पर्टिकुलर एनर्जी दी, you have just given that particular value of energy, and you are just finding what is the px and what is the x at this particular point. There may be not one particular value of px and x. There may be 2 value, 3 value, n number of values. And then we are getting which one is the most suitable value such that we are getting the minimum value of energy. Listen, I can take this value, 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 I can take n number of value for given value of energy. There are n number of px and x. How many px and x for this particular energy? Infinite number. So for the, but you will find the finally we will get a number. क्या लिया? डेल्टा r की वैल्यू क्या लिया? a नॉट लिया ना?
Yes,
You are getting that one particular value, na? Are you getting anything? So this is not change
Okay,
in
sir.
uncertainty. Okay, this is just a change in value. So now you can just write this thing E as, this will can be written as. So we will have to use upper part. So that is h cut square upon 8m delta x square plus half m omega square delta x whole square. Now we want what is the value of delta x such that we are getting the energy E, and which will be minimum. This is the question. So delta E upon delta x is equal to 0, which will tell you minus 2 h cut square upon 8m delta x square plus m omega square delta x. Sorry? Cube. Yes. Cube is equal to 0. And now the next level we are getting this thing. So I think delta x square, delta x 4 aega, but I am taking delta x square. So delta x square is equal to h cut upon 4m square omega. So it is correct. H cut upon 4m omega square. Sorry, this is m square h cut square omega square. Okay. Yes. So now we can put the value of E here. So when we will put the value of E here, then you can get.
सर ये तो डेल्टा x पावर 4 की वैल्यू होगी ना?
डेल्टा x to the power 4 की वैल्यू होगी.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. हाँ, yes. This is for the delta x to the power 4. Okay. Yes. So delta x square की वैल्यू यहाँ पुट करेंगे, है ना? So this will be h cut square upon 8m. So this will be what? This will be h cut upon 2m omega, है ना? Square है तो इसी कारण देख रहे हैं, ठीक है? So that will be half m omega square, and then you have again h cut square और क्या आ रहा है? h cut upon 2m omega. h cut upon 2 omega, है ना? And now you will be again see the thing. If I am going to calculate it, this will come h cut omega by 4. Look at this will also come h cut omega by 4, isn't it? Look at the symmetry.
Yes.
And this will come up to h cut omega by 2. And you will find this is the exact value of energy. This is the exact value of energy we are getting into the lab. Bohr-Sommerfeld value have given you h cut omega. But that is not exact. That have said you different thing. Obviously, that was the initial time when people are trying, but everyone is very close to each other. And now, can you say what will be this delta x? Look at this delta x is very important. H cut upon 2m omega. Look at what is this particular delta x. Are you getting this? This is very simple.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now look at what is happen when we are plotting px versus x. Classically, I am just plotting px versus x. This point is all about 2e upon m omega square. This point is all about 2e upon m omega square. Remember, last class we have done.
Yes, sir.
E is equal to px square upon 2m plus half m omega square x. Means momentum is 0. And now, if you will put the value of E is equal to h cut omega by 2. E is equal to h cut omega by 2. Just put it. E is equal to h cut omega by 2. What will this value? E upon m omega. So this is E upon m omega. Sorry, h cut upon m omega, isn't it? H cut upon m omega. And this is minus h cut upon m omega. Isn't it? So classically, if you will try to see the thing classically, and if this value is h cut upon m omega, sorry, h cut omega by 2, suppose I am taking energy and that is classical energy h cut omega by 2. What are these 2 points? What are these 2 points? Turning points. And particle actually confine into in these 2 things, isn't it? Particle classically not go beyond in these 2 things. And what will be this difference? This difference will be something in this order, isn't it? This difference will something in this order. So just these are the turning points. So you can find the number, you can able to find the number from the delta x, which will be classically some parameters or some length for the system. So when you are talking about delta x, delta px, and for the minimum particular value of energy, you can find something equivalent to classical or near about the classical. You cannot find this. Such in the hydrogen atom, we are getting exactly the classical point of the electron. That is A naught. We are just getting the classical point of the electron. And we have something like this, something in this same type of, the dimension is exactly same. Just you can put it. This is all about turning points, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So this is all about this your particular uncertainty principle. So you cannot say that things are just only abstract. Mathematics is abstract. Hypothesis may be abstract. But verification is very, very much real. And it can be explained, it can be observed. This is the beautiful part of quantum mechanics. Maybe explanation is mathematical, whatever you, but observation is real. You cannot deny the observation. So when you will focus on observation, it is very easy for this particular subject. Applying the mathematics in this subject is the easiest part, other than other particular subject. Maybe there may be long mathematics, there may be tough calculation, but application of the mathematics is very easy in this quantum mechanics. Let's try to go for the last one. And each and everything, whatever we have discussed here, we will just discuss into the quantum mechanical problem also. With the help of Schrodinger wave equation and all postulates, we will learn into the quantum mechanics. So suppose this is your some step potential, some step type of potential, and this is 0. And this height of potential is V0. This height of potential is V0. So what you have to do, you have to find lambda or de Broglie wavelength this is, let's say, region 1 and region 2. Wavelength in region 1 and 2 for energy E is equal to 2V0. First time I am taking energy is 2V0, and second time de Broglie wavelength in region 1 and region 2 for energy is equal to V0 by 2. So we have these two number, and let's try to see what is happening here. So region 1. So region 1, what is de Broglie wavelength? Let's say lambda 1. H upon P. So there is not any potential energy. So that will be H upon root under 2ME. And this is for 2V0. So H upon root under 2MV0. Sorry, 2M, this is 2V0, that is 4V0. So this is the de Broglie wavelength into region 1. Let's say go for the region 2. That is again H upon P. And again here momentum is the total energy E is equal to P square upon 2M plus V0 in region 2. Region 2 you have some potential. So that will be H upon root under, that is 2M V0 by 2. So this will be, you can have H upon root under MV0. So where is the de Broglie wavelength is higher? Obviously in second region de Broglie wavelength is higher, in first region it is smaller, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
Now let's go for second problem. This is your first problem. This is very simple, but I just want to convey one particular message on this particular thing. So what is this? So for lambda 1, what you will get? H upon P, and that will be H upon root under 4M V0. Sorry, the potential is V0, V0 by 2. So this will be
MV0.
MV0. So this is the de Broglie wavelength. Now, what will be lambda 2? What will be lambda 2?
Sir, imaginary.
That is imaginary. So that will be, you can just write MV0 minus E. So what you can write? This will be negative. So this will be not works. Why there is not any? So you can find lambda is imaginary. I'm not calculating it. This will be imaginary. So imaginary wavelength doesn't means anything. So what is the conclusion actually? What is the conclusion? Can anybody give me answer? What is the conclusion?
Sir,
Why I am doing this
sir,
sort of?
सर अगर मोमेंटम इमेजिनरी हो जाएगा तब टोटल एनर्जी इज लेस देन पोटेंशियल एनर्जी
Means the concept of de Broglie wavelength is only those region which are the classical allowed region. What is meaning of classical allowed region? When energy is greater than potential, then this region is identified as classical allowed region. What will happen to particle? Don't worry. In first level, the particle will come here. It will, and it has very fast, it has very high momentum here. And after then, its momentum will small. But yes, particle can find, you can find the particle into this region. In the second case, the particle is going there with a very small momentum, exactly same momentum from there. And it cannot go into this side because it will come and go back. Because if particle will find into this side, then momentum must be imaginary, which cannot be possible. So if you are finding the real de Broglie wavelength from the calculation, what is meaning of that? What is meaning of that? Meaning of that, your particle is in actually classical allowed region. Because momentum is not imaginary, momentum is real. And momentum is real means you can just find this particle. But you will be surprised when we will go for the quantum mechanical observation, that particle can be come into this side also. This is not the discussion matter into this class. I am just giving you information. I am just giving you information because when this problem will come into quantum mechanics, you will remember why it is happening there. So if you are getting the de Broglie wavelength, so when de Broglie wavelength is associated with the particle, when particle is moving, and when particle is moving means I am talking about the classical particle is moving. And what is de Broglie wavelength? Is associated with the classical momentum, and that classical momentum is nothing but m into v. And v is the velocity of a particle. It may be relativistic velocity, then you can take m as the relativistic mass. So why I am doing this question? Because you cannot separate quantum mechanics and classical mechanics entirely. For me, the thing can be classical, can be quantum mechanical, and maybe some places I have to start with the classical thing, and then I observe the thing, and then I can explain it with the quantum mechanical phenomena. So whenever you read quantum mechanics, you can read classical mechanics separately, don't worry, there is not any problem. But whenever you will read the classical quantum mechanics, the classical is always there. And so if someone will ask you this question, that this particle is classical particle or quantum mechanical particle, sorry, particle is always particle is always classical particle. The treatment may be classical or quantum mechanical. In some places, the quantum mechanical treatment doesn't work. In some places, the classical treatment doesn't work. So it depends on observations where we are using which kind of concept. So this is the very important thing. So on this note, I am just going to finish this particular class of modern physics, mainly with this particular hypothesis part, duality part, and now you can think all of these, whatever we have done together, you can just revise it, and then when you will give the test, everything will be come out very naturally. Okay, so this is the end of this particular topic.
सर फर्स्ट का